So, despite the challenges that we've talked about, is there a final message that you'd like to leave, parents or educators with for, I guess, how we can continue to harness the good while managing the challenge?
Well, the first thing I do if I had a technical magic wand is I would clone Henry and I would put him into every school. um, what wisdom and insight he brings. Just so incredible. We've never met before, and I feel like I could talk to him for hours. And we need these insights from those on the ground. And in fact, the one thing I tried to bring to Microsoft was a concept called safety by design. I was sitting in product reviews 12 years ago, and they were looking for security vulnerabilities and potential privacy breaches. I said, hey, what about personal harms? Xbox right now is incredibly toxic, and Skype's being used as a vector for live stream child sexual abuse. And I kind of got oh, Julie, we're becoming an enterprise company. That's a consumer issue. That's not going to sell us any software. So it's precisely what I brought to eSafety. And I sat down with 180 different stakeholders to develop safety by design. What does service provider responsibility look like? What does user empowerment and autonomy look like? And what does radical transparency and accountability look like? We built risk assessment tools because principles are great, but if they're not implemented, then they're not useful. And this is where the Online Safety Act has started to give us more powers. Something called the government now has basic online safety expectations, what it expects of companies to do if they plan to provide interactive services. I'm in final negotiations with 8 sectors of the technology industry around mandatory industry codes and what they're doing to proactively detect illegal and harmful content. We're getting very strong pushback on a lot of these things. And we're talking about terrorist content and child sexual abuse material. So we do need to band together to combat the wealth, the stealth, and the power of the technology industry, an industry I spent 22 years in, but an industry that I do not believe has done the right thing. And they are moved to a certain degree by regulation and by revenue, but really what moves them is reputation. And so we do need to continue holding their feet to the fire and ask them to do more and to do better. So that's not the hopeful note that you probably wanted me to end on, but there are so many benefits to technology. It's become an essential utility. We just have to find ways to be able to better harness the benefits and minimize the risks. I don't believe technology is neutral, but I do believe that people can find creative ways to misuse it. It can be a powerful tool, but it can also be a weapon. So we need to make sure that as we see online abuse, and this is why we're working with sporting organizations as well, if you're seeing your personal heroes, whether it's Adam Goods or Taylor Harris, receiving racist or misogynistic abuse online without any repercussions, that's going to start to normalize behavior over time. So we all have a role to step in and to be upstanders rather than bystanders, and make sure that we're calling this thing out and making sure that we're not seeing this normalization. And what we need to do is we need to set limitations with kids. We know that if you sit down with kids and you work on technology agreements with them, they're much more likely to stick with it. But we have to set those limitations because these products are designed to have very addictive GUIs, graphical user interfaces. The algorithms are targeted to keep sending you the same information, even if it's down a death spiral or very harmful information. So we as humanity have a lot to fight against in the name of technology profit.
Yeah,